Insights. I'm your host, Wendell Jeffrey, and we are in the studios here of Channel 2 television station. And we have as our guest for today someone who needs no introduction, but because this is streamed around the world, I'm going to let him introduce himself. A very good afternoon to you, Mr. Vice President.
Yeah.
Tell us for the records your name and what you do.
Yeah, well, I'm Bharrat Jagdeo, and I'm the General Secretary of the PPP.
Okay, good. So we're going to have a little conversation. We want to talk.
No.
The folks are excited, particularly your side of the party and those who are joining you about what is happening. It seems as though you're very excited about the potential that you have of doing a big sweep, particularly in the non-traditional PPP strongholds. How excited are you and why?
So I'm always excited at election season. We are a party that takes campaigning seriously. And we believe that the campaign season is a period for renewal in a party. It brings people closer together, and it also helps to re-energize a party. And it's important also for a country because at elections, politicians make promises to people. And we believe that the promises we make, we have always fulfilled those promises. So that's why we argue we have a track record. We're a trustworthy party. And that is what we bring to the electorate. And so you said about our prospects at winning. We're contesting in all 80 local government areas. There are 610 constituencies across the country. We're contesting in all of them. We have about 2,000 candidates, 26,000 backers. It's no ordinary feat for a party to contest in all these areas. Even in opposition in 2018, we contested in every local government area. APNU did not contest in government in all the local government areas. But we did not contest in all the constituencies in 2018. Now we are. So we're excited and we're energized because we see our main adversary, not enemy, adversary, APNU. They're now contesting in 340 odd constituencies.
We're going to drill down.
Yes.
We're going to drill down.
But again, the prospect of winning. We already won 291 constituencies across the country, even before the elections, of the 610, nearly half. And 13 of the local government areas, there are no contests because we won those with all the seats. In the city and in APNU's stronghold, we are not underestimating the prospects of the magnitude of the task, because historically these areas have been very strongly in favor of APNU.
Why?
And I believe largely because people don't know us enough. I'll give you an example as to why. In the 2018 the period, just as we were campaigning, before we were campaigning, maybe 2017 or so, I went into Sophia late one night, and I met with about 35 people. And so I explained, a number of questions came up, and I explained our positions to them. And they said, but why didn't you tell us this before 2015? And I said, we were saying it, but you probably were not listening. And one girl who was a PNC activist, she said to me, you know, it's true. Every time I see you on television, I'd switch the channel. We were characterized as racist. I'm known as Satan in the PNP's platform. Every time I'm Satan, right? A lot of rumors that we're gay, I'm gay, all sorts of things, thriving on rumors, and often in enclaves, because PPP has strongholds. like mainly Indo-Guyanese. APNU, like South Georgetown, mainly Afro-Guyanese. So these rumors through whisper campaigns, they thrive and they have no counter. And so people start seeing you in a particular way. So no matter what you say, they don't believe you. They don't believe you. They even don't want to listen to you.
Okay, so
And we believe that's changing. And the moment it changes and people listen to us and they learn what we're about, they would see that we faithfully are committed to the task of developing all of Guyana.
some people are concerned because they're reading the tea leaves. I was by a friend and the friend was noticing. The friend said, look at the lamppost in front of my house. That flag used to be green. It's
Yes.
now the PPP party color flag
Yeah.
in Georgetown proper. And some people are concerned about the dominance you have as a party at the central government level, and now the potential dominance you will have at the local government level. And they're thinking that it's almost becoming like a one-party state, and it makes them kind of uncomfortable. You want to speak to that? Do they have a right to be concerned?
No, I don't think they should worry about that, because a one-party state comes about when parties don't contest, have an open contest. Where people have the right to make choices, you can never have a one-party state. You might have a party that is dominant, but dominant based on the choice of citizens. And that is why we must always fight to ensure that every single person in this country has that right to freely choose their leaders. That right was not always ours. In 1950, when the People's Progressive Party was formed, the first political party, at that time under colonial rule, only people who owned property or were literate could have voted. In 1953, because of the struggle we waged against colonial rule, we got universal adult suffrage, and Guyanese over a particular age, 21 at that time, could have voted, all of them. So it's not, we have fought for that right. That's why democracy is so crucial to our development. You know the challenges we had in 2020 again. And had we not succeeded in 2020, all of us would have suffered. Whether we voted for APNU or PPP, the country would have suffered. So we must all commit to have a fair contest. In a contest now, a fair contest, citizens can choose freely, and they can do so, and we urge them to do so on the basis of track record and trustworthiness. People who keep their promises.
Let me ask.
So I'm not worried about a one-party state. In fact, I believe a Georgetown under a PPP town council will see greater advances, because we'd have like-minded individuals in the city council who will we can push them to make the changes in the city necessary to improve the lives of people.
Good. I'm gonna use that thought as a segue, because when the coalition came in under President Granger, this cleanup campaign that is happening now under the PP administration, something like that happened. And then it waned and died out. So much so that they cleaned the cemetery, the grass grew back in the cemetery.
But please don't equate us with APNU.
No.
We knew it was just the cleanup campaign.
But that's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm asking you. A person, because what you're hearing from me,
Yes.
as we talk
No,
today,
I
you're
agree.
hearing what is happening
I
on the
agree,
ground. So
and
I'm
that
bringing
is why
to
I'm
you-
saying,
Right.
saying not in a hostile way. I'm saying that there are more fundamental differences between our parties than just the cleanup campaign.
So are you promising?
So let me tell you why.
Are you promising that
That it will not be a
short-term
short-term
It's
thing.
not just a political gimmick.
No, yes. So look at our promises. In 2015, we were, APNU and AFC were the ascendant force at that time. the PPP was supposed to be the most corrupt party ever. Secondly, they had all the plans to develop Guyana. Three, they were the most competent people to change our country. They promised jobs to young people. They promised to take care of our children. They promised to take care of the pensioners. The miners who voted overwhelmingly got a promise in their manifesto that they'll remove all the taxes within 100 days. All of them. Lots of promises. Let's look at what they delivered.
So you comparing now?
No, no. That is why I'm saying.
Okay.
That is why I'm saying that it's important. Your track record is important, and I'm going to apply it to the cleanup campaign that you spoke of.
All right.
That is what. So, how did they deliver on those? The grant for the kids went away, claiming that they couldn't afford it. $1.67 billion. If you look at the budget, the estimates, food in government, dietary for government officials went up by over $2 billion, but they couldn't afford $1.6 billion for the children. We promised to get it to $50,000. It's at $40,000 now per child. We'll restore it. We promised to double old age pension. They took away the free water from pensioners. We promised to double old age pensioners. We're supposed to get that doubling within 100 days. Again, they didn't double it in the 5 years. By 2025, it will be 40,000. It was 20,000 when we got into office. We restored the joint services bonus. Mark Phillips did an interview a couple of nights ago. He was then the chief of staff. He was told they would never touch the bonus. They did it. Said it was a bribe from the PPP. We restored it. Today, the joint services, that 1 month salary costs the Treasury $1.3 billion tax-free that they're getting back now. I can go down the list. The miners, we remove all the taxes that were placed on stuff. So we are a party that made promises. We're delivering on our promises, on scholarships, on jobs, on housing. APNU did it, the cleanup that you're talking about. If you look at the cleanup, we exposed it right from the beginning. They had a few big businessmen who contributed to the cleanup, and they were collecting money from the Treasury for the cleanup. Some individuals. The same individuals are the ones that were implicated in the Durban Park project, where they collected large numbers of money. The Auditor General report now showed $600 million missing. It was done. That is what City Hall did. City Hall gave out a number of contracts to people. They couldn't even pay them. That can't be the plan for the city. That cannot be the plan for the city, just cleaning a couple of parapets.
Okay.
You know.
Right.
I can tell you what our plans are for the city.
Well, this is what I want to know.
Right,
I want you to compare and contrast. You've already been comparing and contrasting, but I want you to do it now from not what was not done, but from what can be done.
What can be done
under the PPP C representative at the local government level, because I've had some of your people sit where you're sitting there for interviews, and one of the questions that I asked all of them is, why do you think the coalition representatives at the City Hall level failed the city? Because that's a claim that they were making, that the reason why you guys are now making inroads is because the coalition who ran the city, PNC and the coalition, failed. What are some of the plans you have to not fail, quote unquote, the city as you move forward?
Sure, but two reasons why people are seeing the true nature of APNU, and I keep saying to people, the best thing that could have happened for the PPP was losing the 2015 elections.
You told me that several times.
I told you that several times.
I helped you lose them.
Yes, a number of people helped us lose, and that was the best thing that could have happened in retrospect. It was bad for the country.
What was bad for the country? You mean losing was bad for the country?
Losing was bad for the country because we saw a loss of welfare. and in the groups that I mentioned.
Okay.
Jobs, 15,000 miners lost their jobs, 7,000 sugar workers. The forestry output fell by 50%, so another 5,000 workers there. All of the workers at Kwakwani and Aichuni, they lost their jobs, nearly 1,000 workers. I can go down the list. The children lose 1.6 billion. So it was bad for the country. Good for us because people then, believing APNU in 2015, voted overwhelmingly for them, the miners, everyone. And then they found that what happened, that they never had any intention of fulfilling their promises. That is why we say in COVID, in spite of the fact that we had a year and a half of COVID to contend with in the 3 years that we've been in office, 2.5, 3 years we've been in office, we still fulfill all our promises, what we made in our manifesto.
How will the local, because
So,
this is local government
that
now.
is what I'm saying. So credibility, trustworthiness translates into votes in a normal environment where you have an open contest of ideas and it's not contaminated by race and rumors and the lies.
One of the questions.
Let me develop this point first. So it's a combination of two things: the party's credibility, the brand credibility, and also the failure at the local level. So what could they tell you in Georgetown, the current councillors? How could they say to you that they're going to do anything better than they did before? They will never be able to do that. We, in the manifesto that we put out for the city, we said, first of all, we'll live stream the city council meetings. 2, we'll ensure that every interaction with City Hall to control corruption and make it user-friendly will be on an electronic platform. You can go check your records there, pay your taxes, do everything else. Thirdly, we said we will support the city council. We already building every road in the city. We took over the responsibility from the city council because they were not building roads. Every road in the city will be rehabilitated, and that's a central government promise. We've already commissioned a study to look at drainage in the city. Greater pumping capacity, because when the city was developed in the colonial era, it was for 2 inches of rainfall in 24 hours. A lot of the canals have been filled in, the boulevards to make boulevards, so it's even less now. We can get 10 inches of rainfall in a single night. We have to have greater pumping capacity. We have to clear up a lot with the canals. We've commissioned that study for drainage in the city. It was the central government that moved garbage, the dump site, the PPP government that moved garbage dump site out of the city into Eccles, a new investment. Street lights, everything. So we will support a council like that. When you have a council that constantly wants to fight you, you can't make the progress that you wish.
Okay.
So people say we starve the city council of funds.
Right,
We have had, you come to that.
I'm going to come to that.
We
But
take,
let me ask the question.
we have taken over. You think we can give Urobraj Narayan any money to fix any road in the city? You think we can give him? The road will never get fixed.
I call you elder now. I think I'm in church. Mr. Vice President, let me ask the question this way. When the coalition came in and they were supplementing the cleanup and the infrastructural work at the local government level, the PPP had a problem with that because the PPP was saying that central government funds should not be used to supplement the work in the city.
Listen,
So
I speak for the PPP. I'm the general secretary of the PPP. I've never said anything of the sort. Not a single thing. You find who you're quoting. Who said that in the PPP?
No, okay.
I'm the general secretary.
and
I determine most of the policies.
Maybe it was that you were concerned that the money was
The
not being used
accountability,
right.
the
But
accountability
I would
for the
remember that
funds.
there was
Remember, I can call the names of the contractors who were linked to individuals in APNU who, without any public tender, they were getting $300, $200 million contract in the city in front of the office of my office in leader of the opposition office. They were doing a park there. Look at the park now, presidential park. Hundreds of millions of dollars wasted. All the wood is rotten now. It's in disrepair.
Okay, so are you
wasting
saying,
funds?
Are you saying then that you support central government subsidizing the cost for the upkeep and the maintain of the city?
We did that when I was president. Who you think fixed every road in the city? Roads are the responsibility under the laws of the country, local government laws of the city. We took over. They've stopped fixing roads in the city. Every road in the city we have fixed. The Sheriff Street 4-lane road, that was left even before we left office. But every road, Norton Street, when there was no road there, we built it. Regent Street, Robb Street, Lamar Street, every single road that we in the city that has been fixed for the past maybe 20 years has been fixed by the central government. More than that, even before that.
What happens to the conclave of supporters for the APNU PNC who are left from whatever remains from those who would have supported the PPP after the elections? If there going to be any repercussions for lack of support from those? How are you going to approach that?
Why would we punish people for that, for choosing freely? We have a plan to fix this city. The city is going to need the kind of investment and vision we have for city. You need new management too. There, you can't have the nitpicking that goes on at the town council meetings, and that's why live streaming the meetings would hold them accountable.
Hopefully,
the whole country will see what's going on there. You know, they're fighting over selling out. Even now, like Christopher Jones went to Plum Park. One man went to Plum Park and said, don't allow these trench crappos to come there. That's us, PPP people, trench crappos. And then Christopher Jones went, and I don't think he realized he was being recorded. And he said, oh, there are many empty plots around the country, in Georgetown, and that it was the PNC that gave amnesty, the PNC City Council that gave amnesty when people owed a lot of outstanding rates. Well, a lot of those plots are owned by big businessmen. And we know what took place. The amnesty was a scheme for corruption. They will, if you owe 10 million in back taxes, they allow you to pay 2 million to the city council. You had to pay $2 million to the others, and then you got 6 million waived. It was a totally corrupt scheme that we exposed. But implying that if the PPP goes in there, they'll charge you high taxes, like they're doing now. They told the vendors, we will throw them off the street. They told the squatters in front row and different places, we'll break down all their buildings. We would increase taxes in the city. And they forgot that it's Vulcan who signed a contract for over $300 million with a Canadian company to do evaluation studies, to study across the country to increase taxes. It was in New Amsterdam where they had the pilot that they increased taxes by 100%. We campaign on no increase in taxes. So a lot of rumors will continue. That's what's happening. I saw the launch of their campaign in Georgetown. They cost me for about maybe 60% of the time, air finale 10% of the time, and then not saying to people what they're gonna do.
Okay, let's
No,
I got you. We're having a nice conversation here. I want to
exactly.
segue a little. You've been president.
No, but I missed the point. I got sidetracked. What were we talking about? We were talking about the council.
Yeah. What are you talking about maintaining? What you're going to do to make sure that the city gets what it deserves, and whether or not central government should be funding it.
Yes. So we believe that we can work with it. We pay the taxes to the city now. We give them a subvention every year. But if you give them any money, they find an alternate use for the money. If we have a council there that's sympathetic, If you give them money to do drainage, you would ensure they do drainage. We have to ensure that not only they do drainage, but they utilize people in the areas to do it. That's what we've been saying. And then they account for it. At the end of the year, the city council must have audited accounts. We managed from 1992 to restore the audited accounts to the country. Why can't they do that in City Hall? Okay. So that is why we would have a massive support, but not only through the city council, but when we start doing works in other areas, we wouldn't have the fighting if we control the city council. Often we try to fix a road, they have an issue with it. So right. I'm going to talk a bit about our plans for the city.
Right. I want to segue, because you touched on something just now. You were president and you were the general secretary for the party. Now we have a president, calmer demeanor compared to you. How much of the inroads that your party is now making, particularly in the Afro-Guyanese strongholds, how much of that has to do with the magnanimity and that kind of passive, non-aggressive approach of the current president of the Nationality? How much of that?
Much, I can't measure it, but whatever it is, it helps. He's a mere product of the PPP. So I don't see him as separate from the People's Progressive Party. He grew up in the PPP. We chose him as the candidate. So if his demeanor helps to allow people to listen a bit more to the messages that we've always carried, but didn't have resonance because of the rumors and the racism and everything else. If that helps, it's great. And I haven't always been general secretary. I was, out of politics. Then in 2015, I came back. The party asked me to come back. And only thereafter, I became general secretary. I held no position in the party, leadership position, in the entire period of my presidency. But I did that because we needed to consolidate and wage a campaign. So we don't separate ourselves. He's a product of the PP. We're part of one party. A lot of the things that people speak about now, if you look back to the past, you will see the same even-handedness in our policy making, but it's just that it got mischaracterized. Like APNU would go and show, and they're still at it. It doesn't have so much resonance here. They'd go to Fowls on the East Coast, the housing scheme I developed there, and then say to foreigners, look at everybody who got house lots here in Indo-Guyanese. But if you go to Block 22 in Linden, where the PPP developed a new housing scheme too, almost everyone is Afro-Guyanese because of geography. So a lot of those things, even now you hear them talking about the worst thing for APNU is to actually use the mechanisms that we put in place to fight racism. We have one of the most advanced constitutions in the world. Let me tell you, people talk about power sharing. What we did in the constitutional reform when I was president effectively pushed us to legislative power sharing. Prior to the changes, the parliament used to be managed by the party in power. Now we replaced it with a parliament in our constitution with 5 persons from the opposition, 5 from the government, and the speaker chairs the parliamentary management committee. We have 4 standing committees that can assess government policy, sectoral committees on foreign affairs, natural resources, economic services, and social services. Most countries in the world, the party that has the majority chairs all of them. We agreed to chair 2, government chairs 2, opposition, and then rotate. We put in place 5 commissions. The Rights Commission, Women, children, indigenous people, human rights, and ethnic relations. And then procurement commission too, to oversee procurement. But these are the rights commission. The ethnic relations commission now is so powerful that it can prohibit a party from contesting the elections if the party uses race as a mobilizing tool. Very few countries in the world has that powerful commission. And how do you put together the ethnic commission? It has to have bipartisan support. So it can't be put together by the PPP alone. It means 2/3 support from the parliament.
Right.
So the APNU will spread rumors. They talk about discrimination in a whole range of things, but they would never use that mechanism or the Ombudsman or the Racial Hostility Act. Because you know what, if that happens and they have a fact-based debate with us, you will find that factually Afro-Ghanese have made the most progress in history under the People's Progressive Party tenure. And that I can debate that based on facts and numbers. They will never do that. They will, right?
I understand. All right, good. You speak with passion. You can tell that you always,
right.
Anyhow, you're picking off some key, this election period, and you're picking off some former supporters of the coalition and the PNC, and people are now disparaging them.
Yeah.
Cronies, Uncle Toms, soup drinkers. How would you address that? What would you say to people who are accusing these people of selling out, so to speak?
I think that debate has been going on in our country since nomination day. And, sometimes people don't count our blessings in this country. Often we're characterized as an ethnic basket case. But I've gone to countries that are homogeneous in terms of ethnicity. And they have more divisions than we have. So I just came, some of the investors like talk about political stability when they come. And I just said to a group of bankers that we met, in the 5 months after the elections, people were provoked to come on the streets. People were provoked, lies. And we waited, this country calmly waited 5 months, allowing our country to go through all the processes, legal or otherwise, for the results to be announced. In some ethnically homogeneous country, there would be war, bloodshed on the street.
Correct.
So we don't count our blessings here. And I've seen in this country, when they started calling people names, the PPP didn't have to defend those individuals. A number of other people, including people who didn't defend the PPP or don't support the PPP, Afro-Ghanese, who stood up and fought that unfair characterization. And they said, there's no place for this language. We're a free country. And I say the same thing about the no confidence motion too. It wouldn't have succeeded, or the court cases, if you didn't have a Bartland Scotland, who's Afro-Guyanese, in the parliament, or the Chief Justice Roxanne George. They stood up as professionals. They may support APNU, but they stood as professionals and gave decision. So we don't count it. Sometimes we see this as a division because that has been worked upon politically. But so we didn't have to defend this sort of thing. And you've seen today that more and more people, if you go on social media, are speaking out openly about their support for the PPP and urging others to cross the floor. And we ask them to cross the floor. They're not getting paid or bribes. Everything is about being paid or a bribe. The people are crossing the floor because they see a better life under the PPP and a PPP regime. And not because we're special people, but because we fulfill our promises. We keep faith with people.
You've got thousands, literally thousands of guys and I'm proud because I work with ex-offenders, recovering addicts,
Yes.
people from the blue collar, people who commit blue collar crimes. So I'm happy to see what is happening to fire all boys down, and these guys are doing the work. How does your government plan to keep those guys employed when the trenches are clean and the parapets are weeded and so on?
Training. That is why we have an aggressive training program, Minister Joe Hamilton. We need 500 welders, 700 welders. We need heavy equipment operators. We have tons of trucks, maybe thousands of trucks on the road in the last couple of years. This is where retraining people. I met with the group from Ling Avenue a few days ago. I said, after the elections, let's get all the people who are interested in training. I'll take Joe Hamilton there so that we can get people skills for the new emerging economy. The scholarship program. You know, when we launched the GOAL program, you know, it's something that we hold dear to our heart, because in APNU you had less than 1,000 scholarships given out in the 5 years. And when you look at several ministers and their families and stuff got their scholarships. So we said we'll do 20,000 scholarships. We brought back Professor Opedere, who was the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, a Nigerian guy, to run the program for us. And APNU, the leaders, some of the ministers who had benefited from scholarship, said to Afro-Ghanese, they mustn't apply. Today we have about 14,000 people on scholarships already of the 20,000. Exactly. And more than half are from Region 4 and more than half Afro-Ghanese. Studying now on the scholarship outside of the training program. So that is what we have to do, get people with new skills. You know, in my office as leader of the opposition, there were quite a few of the guys there who were deportees. I wouldn't want to call their names. Now they started with small contracts, they're growing. They're getting a second chance at life. Been in prison for a long period, 16-year stuff. So I have one man that you know of too. Every time I look for him in opposition, he was in the prison. But today he's working at Office of the President, who worked in that period. He's working now, making a life, looking for the future.
So the strategy for continued employment for these guys, because I'm very concerned about that, the ebb and flow. In fact, I was thinking about asking
but we don't want them only in government work, not cleaning drains alone. Look in the construction industry. Now we have labor shortages in construction. The prices skyrocketed. We need the plumbers, the masons, the carpenters. They must be trained to work in the private sector. For the next 15 years, this economy will be booming. We intend to keep it that way. We intend to keep it that way. And so that is what we want, not just getting a cleaning contract from the government. That's not the end point for anyone.
Okay. So the plan that you have for these guys, or the vision that you have, is a retooling, a retraining of these guys. Because a lot of them are either unskilled or low skilled by way of their academics or by way of their vocational abilities. So you're saying that your vision is to transition them into some formal program that will outfit them to do other things.
Yes, and Hamilton has that aggressive program. He has the funding. Any person who gets a scholarship through GOAL now, who wants a scholarship, gets a scholarship, we will pay for it. We've even moved now to do a remedial program.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
For people who have not completed school, because they can't go on to the technical or the academic programs, so they can do a remedial program. But the TechVoc program doesn't require even the remedial program. It's just a skill that you transfer to people, so they can start immediately. Like we have several courses to operate excavators and bulldozers.
And so wait, you have that system in place? Where
it's already in system. Joe Hamilton runs that system, yes. But it's better to do it in organized ways. Like I said to people in Ling Avenue, get the people
By the way,
together.
I'm from Lane Avenue.
Yes, over the river, I said the same thing. The people in Lane Avenue, I told them after the elections, because we need to work at upgrading the housing stock, people's living conditions, all of that. I don't want to mention all the things that we discussed, but focus on the city. And I've been explaining to people, like, South Georgetown is going to be the new epicenter of development. Historically, North Georgetown has been. All the hotels, the buildings, the shopping centers, the Regent Street, your business there. With the investments that we have planned, the 4-lane road that goes to the airport, as you come out of South Ruimveldt, we are in South Ruimveldt now, you're going to have an international hotel there. You're going to have a world-class hospital there. You'd have 2 shopping malls there. You'd have a whole, that's along the same stretch, maybe 3 minutes drive from here, 3 to 5 minutes drive from here. On our, you already see the businesses migrating south. As you come down the road, the main road, you would see it's getting brighter. The Pontrench Dam, what we're doing there, the boulevard, right along both sides would become, those properties will now become business places. People will buy out the properties. That's why I say to people, don't sell now. Property values are going to escalate in south. Don't sell now. So along that, you would see a new, like a Regent Street type of environment developed there. Arby Barker Road would be widened, connected to the highway, the 4-lane highway that we're building from Ogle to Eccles. Now that takes you in this direction out the city. At that, so 5 minutes down or 10 minutes from here too, you will then have an international hospital there, the Women and Children Hospital, a major hospital we're building at Ogle, and about 3 hotels would be there. The hotels alone that are under construction in Georgetown would need 3,000 people to work. As you go up the same highway here, at Diamond, you probably could get to the new hospital at Diamond faster than you would get to Georgetown Hospital, new modern hospital at Diamond that we're building now. So South Georgetown is going to change immeasurably, immeasurably. And therefore, property values will go up. We have to fix the parapets, the roads, the drainage, put in concrete drains and all of that. This is going to become the epicenter as the city grows towards the airport, and it's also growing on the East Coast because we're building a 4-lane going all the way to Mahaica now.
How optimistic?
Yes.
I mean, I'm seeing what's happening. Everybody's seeing the PPP colors have outnumbered the APNU colors in the city, which is the first time in history that's something.
Yeah.
How optimistic are you, and why are you optimistic?
But flags are nice, but flags don't often win election. We're hoping that people just listen to our message and judge us based on the track record. As I said before, we campaign to win. So we speak the winning language in the city and in Linden and New Amsterdam, and we're working hard because we believe we can make a better difference to lives of people in the city and in these areas than APNU has ever done. But we can't underestimate the task. This is APNU's stronghold. And so APNU would still do well in these places. It is a stronghold. It's like APNU going to Port Morant and sweeping the polls there. So, but we are working hard, and we hope people will give us a chance. That's what we are asking for. Give us one chance in 57 years. You talk about one-party rule. Well, APNU was one-party rule in the city for 50-something years.
Okay. Should the PPP not win big at the local government in Georgetown, how many of those plans that you have will be walked back?
Well, our plans are, because we do the roads in any case, etc. What would happen is that you're not going to have this support like garbage, drainage and stuff. It's going to, we can't move at the pace at which we want. We're not going to neglect the city, obviously, but we would not be able to move at the pace at which we believe is necessary at this
So you
point
have to
in
win
time.
a preponderance. You have to win a majority
Yes,
at the local level.
We have to win.
To control.
Control is a bad
No,
word.
I said that.
I don't
reluctantly.
like
meant-
this control
I don't like,
time.
I use it wrong. I meant in order to be able to be a part of what is
Happening in
to
the
have a
city,
voice.
to have a big voice.
Yeah,
Because
you
right
need-
now our councillors don't have a voice.
Right,
They're, they're locked out and stuff like that, totally. And so that is why we're campaigning. And when you're incumbent too, sometimes in your own base you don't get the turnout when you're incumbent. So we have to now excite the other people too in your traditional base.
But you seem to be doing that. So again, you seem to be cautiously optimistic.
Yes, and it would be arrogant for me to come and say, oh, we'll sweep the city.
You're not arrogant?
No. Most people think that way. I'm forceful. People see that, and I don't humor nonsense.
Okay.
So I'm blunt. I'm blunt sometimes. We
Alright.
businessmen come to me and they talk to me, they waste my time. I tell them, don't waste my time. It's not arrogance. I have limited time on this in this place to do as much as I
As a
can.
budding clinical psychologist, you're caloric in your portion.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. All right. Any final words as we wrap this up? Thank you for the conversation that we've had.
No. I'm glad for this, and I hope that people in South Georgetown, that you will judge us on the basis of what we have done at the national level, what we're doing to fulfill our promises. Look at the promises we made in 2020. Just read them and see how far advanced we're with fulfilling those promises. And we can do the same in the city. Just give us one chance to do it.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right. You're welcome.
My brother, my friend. Thank you for joining us on
Okay.
Election Insights. See you again next time. Until then, blessings. All right. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a wrap.